Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We're doing Unit 1. We're doing a layered TIFF, and we're doing a composition with respect to a layered composite. So this is a non-destructive working file so that the actual original copy will never get altered, so that if we send this out to a client and they want changes, we'll always have sort of a history of those changes, but also the ability to make those changes to the unaltered file as well. So we've brought in our background, our lifeguard sort of TIFF with a nice background, beautiful sort of sunshine. You can see the light glistening off, different parts of the lifeguard chair and the lifeguard sitting out in front himself. So we're going to bring in our new layer, our new subject, and unfortunately it's green screen. But anyway, we'll sort of discuss that in just a moment. But we're going to put her in the foreground here, and that's going to create a new sort of layer for us here. And I'm gonna name this. It's going to be the subject closeout, and that's going to be the background because we're going to make another layer on top of that. So that's our subject there. Let's reselect this. And the first thing you want to do is when you bring in a new layer like this, and it is a subject, whether it be an apple or another person, and it's done indoors, and we've got an outdoor sort of background that we're making the composite with, is we have to look at where the lighting is. And in this picture, the lighting isn't that bad. The sun is directly shining sort of on this side of her face, and you can see similarly with the lifeguard chair, it's doing the same thing. So we're okay with that. We can make adjustments and create a new layer and a new mask and adjust the balance of the light and the dark there. But for now, I'm just going to leave that, and we're going to head out and discuss a really important thing. Is that when you're taking a photograph in an indoor setting like this, you'll see that this is a green screen and done with a background in green like this. Traditionally, it's used for video. And as photographers, you don't usually generally want to use a green screen like this because there's going to be a lot of bounce back from the lighting and the strobe. What it does is it creates unpredictable bouncing of this light throughout the whole image. So we probably want to do a light gray, that works best for strobes, or even a background. We could cut that out as well. But again, the green screen like this, we should be keeping for video. No worries, we'll move on. So there's a couple things we can do. I'm using a version CS6. You might be using a Photoshop 2018, and there's an awesome feature called Subject Select, which actually algorithmically selects the background from the subject, and it's easily cut out, and it's in here, but you won't be able to find that. Also, we can do and select a color range, and we can select the green hues and those tones, and then we can remove sort of those components from the layered image. But I'm going to do an old-fashioned, basically the magic wand tool. We can also use the quick selection tool and use a shift and select all the colors around that. But I'm going to do a sort of a stand and deliver magic wand tool, and I've got the tolerance set about 50. That'll increase or decrease the availability and the range in the what the colors and those sort of hues are made up. So I'm going to just click here. Actually, I got it right away. But if you had little pieces like this or like this, you'd want to hold the shift key and and left mouse click again to sort of select those components. So you'll notice around the girl's hair and probably the back of her arm and maybe her shorts, where there is a lot of bounce back from the strobe, there's going to be a lot of hues of green there. So we want to get rid of those. And so using the magic wand selection tool isn't going to all of a sudden grab those colors and allow us to remove those. So we're going to have to refine that sort of selection. So again, go into selection, and we want to refine that edge. So, and in doing that, I didn't want to do that right away. I want to actually inverse select this, the inverse. So I don't want to do the green. I want to select everything but the sub. So to select the subject. So we select subject. Select, and we go to refine that edge, and we can actually change the background color of this as well to reflect a like red or something else. But we want to click on the smart radius, and what that'll allow us to do is it selects the green tones around that by moving this radius up. You'll notice that in the actual image, it's going to be removing those. See? So you saw that go right away there. So that's good. So we want to maybe just increase that a bit more to cut that out. And then you'll notice there's a crosshair sort of tool here. And with the rest of the areas, and hopefully we'll get a lot of it out, we want to refine that edge even more, and we want to paint around that. So you'll see that. That's good. So you'll see that come up even better. We want to go around her arm here, around the wakeboard, down her shorts, up along the shorts and around her hand. So it's going to remove even more, so that when we actually finish and make this, its masked layer, it will remove any of the green and make it look like this individual was actually there. Once you've done that, there's one more output that we can do to create a new layer is decontaminate those colors. So we want to select that. We're going to make a new layer with this mask image, and then you can see it already that it's removed a lot of that color, which is just awesome. So it's going to look even more like this person was actually at this scene. So once we like it, and we'll have to do some adjustments to that masked layer in a second, but once we're cool with that, let's click on OK, and it's going to create a new layer for us. And look, lo and behold, it's looking pretty darn good. So there's another things we can do. We've done the select mask tool. We could also create a color fill, color balance. The hue and saturation we can adjust and remove that green as well. And this will allow us, even crisper edges to define or make this individual look like she's actually there. So we're going to do. I think we're going to do a color balance right now. So we're going to create a new layer for hue and saturation. Okay, and we're going to move this just over here. So we can select, not from the master, but we want to remove any more of the greens from this layer. So we select greens. We're going to use this eyedropper fill sort of color, and we can click on that, and we can create and remove that lightness, or leave that alone, and create this and move the saturation rather. We can actually adjust all of those greens as well. But if we like that, we can actually do other things, like we can feather those edges, we can blur those edges, and again create new layers so that it's a non-destructive working sort of file to make her sort of perfect in her environment. We can add a ball in the background as well. We can lighten and brighten that sky because it is a little bit gray. So there's a ton of things we can do. And lastly, when we send this to a client, let's say, we want to create 1 pixel of noise, and this 1 pixel of noise helps the elements in the image blend better together as well, which we can show it at a later time. But right now, I think it looks super. Your instructor will also go over this in class and maybe online as well. But I think we've done a good job there of bringing her in to the image. We can again brighten this image and and adjust the colors to make them even brighter or more golden. But we'll leave it right there because I think we've done a good job at bringing this new layer into the composition, and I think it looks great. So we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching, and best of luck with the course.